What's going on, fam? This is Raul from QB Kennel. Today we're going to be talking about flopping or cropping. Both sides have myths. Both sides have good arguments. We're going to be looking at both sides of the coin, and we're going to let you make up your mind about it. Before we do, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment if you see things you like, you don't like, or you want us to improve. Here we go. First things first, fam. I like to crop my dog's ear because I just like the way it looks. Matter of fact, I have dogs in my yards that have floppy ears because I like the way it looks on them. It's as simple as that. Now, I will tell you, there are some benefits that you're going to get off of cropped ears versus floppy ears. They're not going to be your typical ones. We're going to be going a little bit in depth in that. Main flop argument I get out there is it's inhumane to cut a dog's ears because it's going to hurt. How would you like it if we cut your ears? Well, let me tell you something. It's even more inhumane whenever you have dogs out in the street without their ears cut in a large majority. Why do I say this? It's rather simple, fam. Whenever you have somebody that spent what they spent on a dog and then turn around and also spent what they had to spend on getting their ears cropped, it actually makes them buy in a little bit more to what's going on, fam. I mean, I'm not saying that if you don't crop the ears, you're not going to take care of your dogs. Please don't misunderstand me. But do understand that those people that actually go and do these types of things, normally that dog in their eyes holds more value. I mean, in the world that we're living in today, if it doesn't have value, you pretty much get rid of it at some point. I've seen this with dogs. Every time I go down to the pound here, I see that the majority of the dogs, I want to say near 90%, don't have cropped ears. They have floppy ears. This is for a reason. Nobody bought in. Nobody had to invest an additional $300, $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 in certain places to get the ears cropped. So this whole thing about you're being inhumane because you're cutting his ears, you know, I don't see nobody picketing outside of hospitals whenever moms have their kids circumcised. You know, how inhumane could that be? Okay, so what I'm trying to get at is you need to respect people's ownership of the dog. Okay, if they're gonna take ownership of that dog and take care of that dog, that's really what needs to matter. If they want the ears cut or not, that's totally up to them, fam. We need to respect that. This is a myth I normally get whenever people are trying to defend their position on cropping ears. Oh, I crop their ears so they don't get ear infections. Let me tell you something, fam. I've had dogs now for quite a bit. I've had quite a few dogs. Never had issues with ear infections with floppy ear dogs. So, I mean, don't go out there and lie to yourself and believe it and then turn around and try to, you know, lie to the public. I'm sure that there are dogs out there that have floppy ears that do get infections, but I'm sure the number is rather small. Just confront it. Let those people know, first of all, this is my dog. I do with my dog what I want. And second of all, let them know, you know, the majority of the dogs in these shelters or whatnot are floppy ear dogs. There's a reason to it, okay? People are just not buying in. But my whole point is go ahead and be upfront with people. Let them know why it is that you want to do it. Don't just sit there and make up a story and then think that they're going to believe it, because at the end of the day, you actually lose a lot of credit. The other thing I get from the floppy crowd is, you know, you should leave dogs the way God intended. Fam, stop lying to yourself, believe in the lie, and try to sell it to me. These dogs are designer dogs. All dogs are designer dogs. Humans have put their hands on them, and we have bred them. We're not talking about wolves, coyotes, or none of that. We're talking about dogs, domestic dogs, dogs that we have bred to do specific purposes, okay? And, you know, the biggest thing that I find is I don't see a bunch of people after the Rottweiler community as to why they're cutting the tails off. The Dobermans, why are you cutting the tails and the ears? Yet here in the bully community, you know, you crop the dog's ears, and all of a sudden everybody wants to be natural and they all want to become religious, and all of a sudden you got to leave things the way God intended for them to be. Truth of the matter is, fam, man has been breeding these dogs, and they're no longer, not even their genetic makeup, even though they are 2% away from wolves, they're not wolves, okay? Even if their genetic makeup is 98% that of a wolf, they're not wolves. They're domesticated dogs that we bred as humans, and therefore they have a look. And us as humans, we have had a stamp in the species, in the breed, and therefore we're able to do these things, fam. Okay? So what we should really be concentrating our focus on is, when you buy that dog, are you going to take care of it? Are you going to be vested on that dog? Are you going to love and pay the vet bills and always make sure the dog's taken care of? That's really what matters. The other thing I hear is, oh, I like to crop because dogs are able to hear better. Come on, fam. Who you think you're lying to, bruh? Please, just face the music. Explain that you want to crop because it's a cosmetic thing and it's what you want for your dog. And that's the end of the story. At the end of the day, who's paying for the vet bills? Who's paying for the food? Who paid for the dog? Who's taking care of the dog? That's really what matters, fam. So please, don't give me this argument of, I crop ears because they hear better. Come on, man. Now, this floppy-eared argument is one I actually researched. And believe it or not, it actually has some credence. I had somebody tell me that they don't crop their dog's ears and they let them flop, okay, because it helps the dog cool themselves off. At first, I thought there could be a possibility, but I gotta be honest, I didn't take it full-heartedly. But after doing research, fam, believe it or not, even though dogs do cool themselves by exchanging air through their tongue and cooling their tongues, and that's where the blood is getting cool. Also the ears, believe it or not, when the wind is hitting their ears, and even just the outside atmosphere, if it's cooler than what its body temperature is, which it will be for a good amount of the time, it would actually start cooling off the blood that's being supplied to the ears. So, floppy ear people, I got to give you that one. I just had somebody recently tell me, I crop my dog's ears because my vet says. My vet says. Fam, let me tell you something. That vet, he's out there to make money. If he's the one cropping ears, guess what he's going to tell you? He's going to tell you they get ear infections. Why? Because he needs you to drop that $500-600 he's going to charge you so you could, crop some ears. So please, take the vets out of the whole argument, because even though they know about dogs, even though they know about animals in general, they are also business people, and they will always advise you on what's most lucrative to them. The one thing that pisses me off the most is when I hear, oh, you crop ears because you fight dogs. It's got to be the most ignorant myth in the name of the game. Fam, most bully breeders, I could tell you, most bully breeders that I know have no intentions, don't even look in the direction of dog fighting. And if we get an idea or a premonition that something like that's going on, we're the first ones that are jumping on it for two reasons. First of all, for the dog safety, and second of all, because we don't want the name of bullies to be out there as fighting dogs. We're already seeing what is done to our cousin pit bulls. We don't want that to be, migrated and tagged upon the bully breed the way pit bulls were. So please, no, we cut the ears, get it through your thick skull for cosmetic reasons. For the same reasons some people get liposuction, for the same reason people like to stick around their lips or whatnot, for the same reason that people want to circumcise their children. Whatever the case may be, fam, at the end of the day, it's cosmetic. You should look beyond that, and again, I'm going to re-stress, make sure the person's taking care of the dog. That's what really matters. Now, fam, let me tell you, I've been confronted a lot of times about people that are against cropping ears. Most of their charges is that it hurts the dog. I'm going to tell you this. I'm pretty sure it hurts them at some point. My dogs in particular, I take them down here to a vet. He puts the dog to sleep under anesthesia. They get their ears lasered off, and then they get their ears taped and whatnot. I bring the dogs back. You guys have seen, I posted videos of that before. I bring them back usually within, I want to say 24 hours. That puppy is a whippersnapper, like if nothing had ever happened again. They kind of come back to sorts, and they're doing the things that they were doing before. I'm pretty sure that within that 24 hours, there's got to be discomfort at some point. I've never really had a situation where I've had a dog, whining the whole night or shivering or giving me signs of distress or pain. I've never really had that. When I do leave the vet, they normally give me some medications. I believe it's Caprofen. I could be wrong, but it's usually to take the pain away if the dog happens to have pain. never had to use it. Matter of fact, I'm a nurse. I try to stay away from using anything like that because my biggest fear is that the dog may have difficulty breathing, and if you give him that, it might create a situation. But truly, fam, truly what I want to get at to you is, please, for those of you that want to crop ears, make sure you take them to a vet, man. Make sure they put the dogs to sleep. You know, I got to be on the side of the floppy ear people whenever, you know, they see these homemade croppers that go out there and you actually crop the dog's ears without anesthesia. The thing looks disgusting because the dog, of course, had to move because he's feeling the pain. I mean, I don't advocate for that, fam. When I say I advocate for for cropping, I'm advocating for it to be done by a veterinarian where the dog receives anesthesia and when it's done properly. Okay, this all this at-home stuff, I don't advocate for that. And honestly, at that point, I do think it is cruelty for animals. Whether you're on the side of the flop or you're the side of the crop, at the end of the day, fam, what we should really be about is on the side of the dog. Is that person going to take care of that dog? Like I said earlier, I have found that people that spend the money on the dogs and people that actually go and get the ears cropped and care for the dog, they have not just an emotional investiture, but there's also a monetary investiture there. It's not all about money, but to just shove it to the side and say it isn't theirs to be hypocritical with you. I've noticed that people that come out and buy a dog for $3,000, $4,000, you know, they treat that dog, you know, like a king, okay? Whereas, you know, I've gone down to the shelter and I try to get the backstory on as many dogs as I can. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, you see these dogs, you could tell they were at home at some point. When they try to either call up, you know, the owners because they actually happen to have a tag or whatnot, the owner usually lies and says things to the extent that, oh, the dog was either sold or given away a year ago, so it's no longer theirs. I'm not going to get into how the shelter handles that, but my whole point is, whenever you're giving a dog away for free, that person doesn't even crop ears or do nothing. That means that, you know, that speaks volumes, fam. Either they don't have the money to take care of the dog, or they do have the money to take care of the dog, but they want floppy ears, which could very well be the case. But when that person's going to move to an apartment, they're not going to think twice about giving up the dog to a shelter like somebody that just spent $4,000 on a dog and an extra $500 on their ears. So, again, this is a very personal choice as to what you want to do with your dog. As for me, here at QBN, we have dogs with cropped ears. We have dogs with floppy ears. At the end of the day, it's my decision. It's our decision. We decide who we want to crop and who we don't. And, you know, like I tell people when they come talk to me about it is, you know, I respect your opinion, but at the same time, you need to respect mine. At the end of the day, I'm the one paying the vet bills, paying the food, taking care of my dogs, loving on them. So, you know, I'll take care of what's going on my end. And I respect the fact that you're going to respect what's going on your end. But above all, take care of the dogs, fam. That's really what it's about. Whether they're cropped or flopped, it don't matter. What really matters is that that dog has a home, has shelter, it's got food, it's got water, it's got playtime, and it's got love in its life. Hey, fam, ain't going to hold you up too long. This has been QBNK. Peace out.